Exactly. There
Here
we go.
he is, the
Oh
powerful.
my goodness. Do you know what? You are going to be so special in our hearts, in my heart, because you are our very first guest in our little homegrown podcast that we're doing. We're not flashy, we're just keeping it real. And
Oh
you
yeah.
answered the email, and I feel so humbled because people just don't answer my emails. I'm just so blessed to have
Oh,
you.
it's a pleasure to do this. It's fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. The whole journey, the idea is fantastic. Made me giggle quite a bit. That's for
Oh,
sure.
bless your heart. Brilliant. Oh, well, I hope we had some fun. And Maxi, can you do the introduction for us so we can start
Right,
it?
okay, we'll do the introduction. We are here with our first ever guest. He's an Olympian, he's a record setter, a record breaker. He is a silver medalist, 110-meter hurdler. Mr. Colin Jackson, how are you, sir?
I'm very well today. Thank you very much. And what a pleasure being on your podcast. It's exciting.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Well, this is Bite Size and Baby Steps, and it started when I was posting lots of my little fitness videos, and Max kind of slid into my DMs and said, "Hey, we should do something because we're middle-aged fatties and it's not easy." And we wanted to reach out to everybody else saying we know that it's not easy. So this is all about encouragement and information and all the rest of it.
And a
So,
little bit of accountability. This is
oh
just a
yeah, and
little bit.
accountability.
For
Yeah.
me, it was always I needed a partner to come in with and be like, you know what, falling off the wagon, and I need someone to kick my butt a bit and get me back on it. And so partnered up with lovely Luella, and here we are.
And our last week's challenge was to lose 2 kilos. That's how small we're going. Yeah, but
That's good.
he's so show off. He's going a stone and a half
No,
in the post. Yeah.
Holla
What's
back.
that? I can't work with
I,
that. It's
I
not
am
giant
still.
steps, big mountain giant steps, is it?
But you know what? That is a really good little bit of knowledge there that you've just given me because, like, that's a huge amount of weight. But 2 kilos is a good amount of weight as well.
Mm.
When you work it out, I mean, that is it's a lot to ask for because what you've got to kind of give up. I want to use the word sacrifice to get to that is quite a lot, and the sacrifice comes from here in your
Oh,
mind,
100%.
and once you start to get your mind in gear, then things can really roll. So it's just getting that discipline in your mind to achieve a goal that is the most important thing to you. It's more important than that glass of champagne, the boxes of chocolates, and those crisps. So you gotta have that goal that's bigger than all those.
Colin, have you been in my house lately? You're dropping in on Alexa or something. Because I find, I mean, Max is really quite disciplined, and I don't know whether that's a man thing that you can just really focus, but I find that there's a lot of self-sabotage going on in my head. It's like as soon as you say, right, this is what you're going to do, I find myself like, oh, well, this pack of gummies won't hurt. I'll start it again tomorrow. And then you just get into this cycle of just
I've
not
never
doing
stop it. Yeah. Do you know what? I now there's a great female Jamaican sprinter of all time. Her name is Merlin Ottey.
Oh, yeah.
And Merlin Ottey was one of the best sprinters, 100 and 200 meter world champion, blah, blah, blah. I mean, a list could go on. And I was food shopping with her. Well, let me put it in context now. So, one thing with Merlin is that she was always known to be the guru of health, fitness, well-being, you name it. In the sport of athletics, everybody looked up to Merlin because she was just beautifully well kept. And I can assure you, in her mid-60s, she still lives the same today. It looks like she could race today. She looks incredible, right?
Wow.
And I went shopping with her in Atlanta, and we were going food shopping. So we blah 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 blah. So I'm like you a little bit, Luella. So I've got to have a naughty. I've got to have a naughty cupboard in my kitchen, full of all the goodness, the chocolates,
the drawer
crisps,
of bribery and corruption.
So come on, Colin, what's your naughty? We've had all these questions, we're jumping all around now, but you've hit this one. What's your naughty? What's your temptation?
Wine gums. I mean, wine gums.
Wine gums.
Yes.
I like gummies.
Yes. Yes.
Bravo.
Yes, it was. You got it.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, it's just bad. But anyway, I was with this Merlinotti, right? And as I was walking, I looked at Merlin and I smiled, tried to put a lovely little innocent smile as I reached for the pack of wine gums to put into my basket. And she looked at me and she said, it's funny, you know, because you tell me all the time how much you're looking after your body, you're looking after your weight. If you leave those on the shop shelf, you won't get fat. And I thought, oh, she got a point there.
Yeah.
Put it back on the shelf and you won't get fat.
That's what she said.
But you know what though, there's this interesting thing, and this is where I kind of fall off the wagon a hell of a lot, because I do a lot of reading in relation to fitness gurus, like Gunther Schlierkamp. He was a former Mr. Olympia. One of the things that he was saying is when he was in the gym, in order to get that insulin spike, he would go around, funnily enough, not wine gums per se, but with Haribos. And he would throw like a mouthful of them in. And I mean, he's, no neck. He's just out here. Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, I can eat Haribos all a live long day. Then the next thing I know, it's like, I can't do up my jeans. I've got problems. So.
Well, and something else called diabetes.
Yes, well, this is it. I'm free. I'm a bit free at the moment, and I can't help myself. And in our last episode, I did confess I didn't quite make the 2 kilos. I lost it, gained it, lost it, gained it, gained it. But in my defense, I went to Germany and they put Haribos on your pillow when you go to bed. So how? I couldn't say no.
Set you up. You were stitched up.
Yeah, they did that.
They knew I was coming.
You know what I mean?
Oh, so what did you have for breakfast, Colin?
Today, you're going to be quite disappointed with me because I had some dry cereal and oat milk. I didn't have anything fancy, I promise you. And I'll tell you the reason why it was dry cereal with a little bit of oat milk in, because I'm not that fussed on like too much liquidy kind of thing. Anyway, because I worked out what I was going to have later in the day, which was my main meal, which was going to be fish and chips.
Oh, it's Friday.
It's Friday, right? And homemade. I make it all myself. So it's not kind of like when I say fish and chips. It was like grilled sea bass.
I knew you were going to say that.
See, ain't fish and chips. Get out of this guy.
Fish and some sliced potato. That's what the fish and chips.
Definitely. But I was realizing I wasn't going to have that much veg in this day. So if I'm not going to have so much veg, I need to keep up my fiber intake. So that's why I was having a lot of dried cereal, so I could have like more fiber in my diet. Because you've got to try and get around 40 grams of fiber, in your diet a day properly. Yeah. And most people don't even get like 5 or 6.
I was wondering if I could ask you about your oat milk thing. Is that a personal choice, staying away from dairy, or is it because you lactose issues? What's the situation there with oat milk?
Well, I kind of have all alternate milk. So I like almond milk, cashew nut milk. I make my own pistachio nut. You knew I was going to say.
Oh, you got a masticator.
Right? You got it, right?
Yeah.
So I make all that. No, Luella, hang on. Let me just say that. Just in case my mom's listening.
You two getting on my nerves already.
Listen. This is the Colin and Max show right now.
Before we go any further, it wasn't me who made the milk. It's my mum who did it, right? And I just collect it from her, right? So.
All right, Mummy. All right.
All right. And so, but I like it because I prefer it to the cow. Okay. So that's all. It's preference. I do lots of things now by preference more than anything else. Of course, I came from a world of sport where you were kind of educated to have good preferences more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I liked myself. I did allow myself to have those kind of, treat meals or whatever. But nowadays, I just prefer it, to be honest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because we do have a question about your days as an Olympian. And
yeah.
So let's see what other questions we have for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, your question, Max, about the supplements.
Yeah. So obviously, being, having to train, being on a schedule and all the rest of it, were there, outside of a regular diet and routine, was there any supplementation that, that you were having to kind of undertake in conjunction with the balanced diet? That would kind of give you the edge.
Yeah. All is in the world of sport. The most important thing is to keep you on track, right? So when I say keep you on track, it's just to be healthy. So if you're healthy, you're away from colds, sniffles, flus, that kind of stuff. Not like injury, but just being healthy. If you can keep healthy, you can train harder and you can train longer. If you train harder, train longer, you get better. Easy equation for everybody to understand. So the key factor for me was all about looking after the immune system. So you can imagine there was zinc, there was magnesium, there was calcium, there was vitamin D, vitamin E, and then a thing called L-carnitine, which is, again, good for one of the amino acids.
Yeah.
So it was things like that that I really coupled my diet with. So I just put them on my hand, literally, gunk, and eat. Always take vitamins and minerals with food if you can.
Yeah.
Because that's when your body is ready to absorb it, because it sets off all the gorgeous juices downstairs to help you do all the absorption.
Well, one of the things I've actually found recently, and Luella and I have talked about this, and I've actually got her onto the bandwagon as well, is hydrogenated water really helps as well with the absorption of minerals and vitamins within the system. It's done absolute wonders for me.
Heard of it, Colin? Have you heard of hydrogenated water?
I have. Now, listen, I'm looking around now because I can't lie. Because just in case, my athletes could be, who I train now, could be literally listening to me. And I don't want them to go to me, why are you lying to people? Right?
Yeah. I want to get called out.
I don't want to get called out because they will phone in, right? And they would just really expose me. But I'm going to tell you a secret, guys, and you may drop off your seat. I hardly drink water. I hardly drank water. You see, I knew that was going to happen. I hardly drank water as an athlete, and I hardly drink water now. And it's funny because I was with Linford Christie and we were talking about this. How everybody's like hydrating. We were like, we never hydrated as athletes. Wow. Not really. And yeah. We did all right.
Stunned.
No liters a day. No 8 cups of water a day.
No, maybe 8 cups of coffee when I was competing. But
so are we being sold a lemon here, Colin? Are we being? What is all of these health experts and gurus are saying, "Oi, go and get yourself some water," and you're saying, "No." Was it the Lucozade Sport endorsement that said no, don't drink water?
No, it's just that, and I still do not drink water. I mean, I try to drink more water. I try. I mean, but yeah, it just doesn't.
And it didn't look so good.
I did this little bit of a test as well, one of these full body composition things with my sister. Now, my sister is an adamant health guru herself, drinking the water, vegetarian, fruit, veg, the whole shebang. So when we went on to do this full body composition test, and she went, I cannot wait to see how dehydrated you are when you go on the machine. The machine said I was perfectly well hydrated. And
it's a fiddle.
And so I looked at her with a smile, but I did remind her, I do eat a lot of vegetables. I do have a lot of fruit. And your body is really capable of extracting what it needs from those things. So, and I never feel kind of dehydrated, you know what I mean? I never feel it. So, but if I am going to do something that needs real concentration or focus, I will drink a little bit more water because I know to stay more concentrated and focused, water is really important for your brain. So you can't feel dehydrated at all.
So tell me, so you don't drink water Does your pee look like Lucozade? Or does,
No,
or does it
no.
look like Chardonnay?
It looks beautifully like Prosecco.
It's got
So
bubbles.
you just can't get the staff
Got
these
bubbles
days.
in it. But no. It's a beautiful color still. Yeah. I don't. It's not. No.
So
I'm all
it could
right.
be genetics. Then you're just
Yeah, and you could just be predisposed to having like fantastic hydration.
Same as a kid. I didn't drink that much as a kid, so of course it's all that process, isn't it? I guess you just habit forming.
Did you ever have like issues, muscle cramping or anything like that? No,
Never.
Wow, that is
Never.
wow.
You look so good. You're the same age as me, and you look better than me. It's very same age.
It's not true. So don't flatter me now. It's not.
Forgive my colleague here. She's just a hot mess right now with the interview.
Right.
Oh, it's Colin. It's Colin.
Shut up, you. Question, Colin. How big a part? How? What's the word? What part did food play in your family growing up? Because I know that you're part Jamaican, part how do you say it?
Panamanian in that sense.
Panamanian.
Yeah. So
not Pomeranian, Panamanian.
No. Yeah. Well, both my parents are both born in Jamaica, and my mum's mum is from Panama, and so I had that whole Jamaican kind of bringing of everything. So Saturday was beef soup. Right? Rice and peas, everything. The normal Jamaican upbringing in that sense. Ackee and saltfish was something we had with fried dumplings. Always sometimes Sunday breakfast. And then, if I had ackee and saltfish on one Sunday and I was going to my auntie the next, she'd give me callaloo and saltfish. So I was having all the kind of thing. Everything was everything, And I used to remember thinking that English food was quite exotic. It was like, oh, what is this? This exotic thing.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the white nation of England, let me just tell you,
you can't talk because you've got the black wife effect.
Oh, okay, all right.
Black wife effect, so you don't count. So how come you never get fat? You're so fine bone and slim. Little fine bone and everything.
Well, again, I guess lots of that is genetics.
Max is choking on his drink there.
Stop doing that.
I think genetics does have a lot to do with it. And I think I kind of tell people about, there's a furnace, your metabolism is like a furnace, right? Yep. So if you kind of charge up that furnace from a young age and get it running well, so you eat well and you burn all the time, your body kind of gets into that groove. And that's how it continuously keeps burning. If you're quite sedentary when you're young, and then it doesn't get any better, to be honest, when you're older, because you formed that habit already. And it's really hard to kickstart that burn effect in your body, which burns all your calories. But that is not an excuse. It will reignite. It's like a boiler. A boiler needs a little bit of service there, a little bit of love, and it will fire up for you. So it's exactly the same way as your metabolism. So do not give up. Fuel it well, and start with your exercise, small, low key, take your time. And as you start to progress, that fire will start to burn. I promise you, Luella, I promise you. You're looking at me like with nearly hatred, everybody.
Pretty enough, good skinny, don't drink water, fine, and we're the same age, and I'm there struggling with the gummies. Anyway.
Well, you know what? There are outliers in this world, and that's what Colin is. He's one of life's outliers. He's able to kind of get on with it without the things that you and I need, Luella. Like, we need to reignite our pilot light and get the boiler going. Do you know what I mean? So
you need to get some coal and find it, really.
No, I do too. As you get older, it gets more difficult.
It does.
Other things take over your life, and those other things become more important than you. But you've got to realize you've got to be the most important thing. And once you really give your own self-love, and that's what you're creating, it's a self-love environment you're creating. And once you create that and you understand that, then you'll go on the journey a little bit more easy. Because anything you're doing, you're getting the benefit from, you and you alone. Most of the things we do in this world, other people get the benefit of.
Amen.
So this is what we got to do for ourselves. We are more important than anything else, and you can do it. I know you can. I know you can.